All right, guys, we are back, and we're here with two of my bestest friends, two of the greatest beards in all of comics. And I'm not saying that in any kind of way other than the fact that let's look at these guys. Let's look at the miraculous beardedness. This is the hairiest panel you're going to see all weekend, except for the top of my head. So, welcome in, guys. It's Team Floppy Cop. Wow, my green screen just totally took over my entire body. All right.
Wow, how you doing?
It's so good to have you guys here. I've been so excited to have you guys on.
Oh, happy to be here, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Feels so nice. It's nice to see your face and have it talk at me and then hear me and then talk back. This is great.
We already have
Who's this?
Oh,
you know, and riff on you.
Where's Pat at?
Didn't he die in a grease fire?
I thought so. I started it. I thought I took care of all those loose ends.
And I locked all the doors in that place.
Oh, but I love him.
Love you too, Pat. Wherever you are. Hashtag.
You know, Pat's appeared on the convention on Monday.
Yes.
And this may be his first ever convention as a creator.
Is it? Oh, no, it might.
Are we witnessing history right now?
Well, I don't know, but here's the thing. So I made the graphic and I put him first in front of Rob. And
okay.
I says to Rob, I go, you know, the only reason I put Pat first is because I'm worried he'll climb down the beanstalk and destroy the village.
That's a good possibility. Feet five.
Pat, if you can hear me, would you mind autographing my Mac? Would that be cool? Could you autograph this moment for me? Just reach your hand through the computer and sign my computer. No, I don't see it. What if I get closer?
No, true story. Yeah, there you go. So
true story.
You guys, we're here to talk about Floppy Cop, but let's start at the very beginning, pre-Floppy Cop. Before we all knew each other, how did you guys come to be in the industry and decide to make comics?
Dan, you go first.
All right, fine.
Aha! See, I spoke first, so you have to go first.
Dang it! Commercial law rule here.
That's right.
I've been doing comics since like 2003, and toe in the water kind of situation at that point. I was doing like I think my thesis project for school. I tricked them into letting me do a comic, I didn't really get any sort of real foothold into the comics community until about, I'd say like 2006 when I started doing Beardo. Ever since then, I've worked with a lot of different people, did a lot of different indie books. I love that my story is somehow slowly killing Kyle right now.
Yeah, I noticed that too. You like put him on a commission, man.
Kyle died listening to my story.
It goes on the resume.
Kyle's choking on orange soda right now.
Yeah, that happens a lot when I start talking. People just start choking on whatever they're drinking. I started doing a lot of random stuff, as a freelancer, and pretty soon I had a little body of work and a couple of good collaborators to call my friends. Ever since then, I got a lot more serious about it in the late aughts and really never looked back. I started doing this full time in 2008, and never really looked back. So ever since then, I got a lot of creator-owned stuff, and then I've got a few, intellectual properties that I've had the good pleasure to work on. But yeah, still kicking. Are you alive, Kyle, or did you die?
I have to unmute myself.
Is this a rigor mortis from the orange soda murder that just occurred?
What Dan isn't going to mention, what Dan hasn't mentioned, and it's probably because we haven't brought it up, but Dan is recently like the hottest thing to ever come out of a Barnes and Noble.
Oh,
Dan and DJ Corchin are burning up the charts at the traditional booksellers.
Yeah, I mean, if I can, I'll brag a little bit. I've been quarantined long enough where I need to brag to survive. I
Sure.
with DJ and I've had some really good success this past year, and it's sort of we call it a 15-year overnight success since we started working in 2006 together on our first book, and we made about 12 books. But yeah, one of our books, 1,000 No's, which all of our books have been picked up by a company called Source Books, not to be confused with Source Point Press, have been slowly making their debuts out in the bigger arena of Barnes and Noble and Amazon and small independent bookstores and whatnot. And yeah, 1,000 No's cracked the top 10 of all the Barnes and Noble's books last year. And it was #1 on the kids' book section for quite a bit. And currently, I think is still #1 on the Apple Bookstore.
Oh, that's crazy.
Which was a huge surprise and just pretty cool. Like, it's really fun getting pictures of little kids' drawings of my drawings. Like they'll send like a photo from like a classroom or from like a homeschooling situation, since we're all in that world right now. And it's fun because it's like a little kid's version of my drawing where I was trying to draw like a little kid. And it's like this just really fun, get your day started off on the right foot kind of feeling. So yeah, we've been having a lot of really good reviews and reactions from that, and I'm really grateful for it.
I'm really happy for you, but I'm a little angry right now. You took the joke right out of my mouth about asking if you draw like a little kid. So.
Most of the time, yeah.
All right, Seth's turn. Seth.
Oh man, so I guess I got my start through fan art. Really, I was posting on like Digital Webbing Presents forums and the Image Comics forums, and just putting any and all artwork out there that I could, and that garnered the attention of Jim Valentino and Chris Simon, and they decided to take a chance on me, and through a contest that they were running, ended up giving me the runner-up, I believe it was, or maybe it was the winner. It's been so long now, I'm not doing it justice. But they ended up putting me on a 3-issue book, and that was my first shot out of the gate, was an Image book. So like a kid out of the 90s, like every kid out of the 90s, I was beside myself. And of course I skidded out and crashed and burned, and it sold all of 10 copies, and all those 10 people have burned them since. But from there, like Dan was saying with his 15-year overnight success, I like to say that I'm part of the 20-year overnight success plan. So from that first Image book, it led to another project, and that led to another project and several collaborators, and it's just been one fluid step after another. Try to make sure that each project isn't too big a fumble, and try not to get too hung up on any one thing for too long, and just keep going, because I'm just going to draw whether people want me to or not.
Was that first book Xenoholics?
No, it was I Hate Gallant Girl, actually. That came before Xenoholics. Xenoholics was absolutely a blast. That came out of I Hate Gallant Girl. That was actually Jim Valentino had introduced Josh Williamson and myself to each other. And we were sitting in a bar in Chicago after the show, and just trying to talk about what we wanted to do as a project together and how weird and off key we could get. And we decided to come up with a book about people who were addicted to alien abductions. And they went to like a support group meeting, like an AA meeting, to talk about alien abductions. And it was a dark black comedy that I think struck a chord for those that picked it up. But again, it was a hard sell. But apparently that seems to be my thing, because that's where Floppy Cop is people who read it absolutely love it. The trick is getting people who haven't read it to pick it up and read it, because it's just kind of off the wall and different.
Well, I was laughing at that Xenoholics was a hard sell, because at this point I think I have a half a short box of it. It's just, anytime I find it, I buy it. So it's an easy sell to me.
Well, it's out of print now, so if I ever do get like super recognition, then you're probably going to come out on top of that equation.
I'll be honest. Jen's sitting there listening to this. I think I've bought 20 or 30 copies from her.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. See, and I think I've got a small box of the individual floppies left. Everything except maybe issue 1. I think I've only got a couple of copies of those. And I only have the 1 trade paperback, and that's all out of print. So there's no more copies available unless you can find them somewhere in the quarter bin.
So
I have them all.
you muted, John.
Hey, how are you?
Somebody's got them. I love it. I love it. And Josh is huge at DC now, writing all sorts of wonderful stories. So it all comes back to Xenoholics, right?
Yeah. So speaking of things that are in print, Floppy Cop Volume 1 came out a couple years ago. We took the pandemic year. We're going to forget 2020 ever happened and just say it came out last year.
Yeah.
That?
That's
take
pretty
that.
accurate, actually, because it came out just in time for us not to be able to promote it.
Right. It came out 2019. Was Motor City the big debut?
Yes.
Yeah,
Or because I can't remember the order of things. Was it C2E2 or was it Motor City?
it was Motor City. We
I think we
loved
came
how-
up with it at C2E2, and then we had the first issue in hand by Motor City.
Yes, correct.
Because
It was like
I have
April
the
to May.
Chicago trade, the Bean, and I have the Bob Seger trade, which I know was C2E2 and
And that was we used the Seeger trade was a combo of Motor City and Cherry Capital.
Cherry Capital.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we had it for a Michigan show because it was the Michigan, and they were basically almost.
Michigan edition. These
Yeah.
lovely covers by Jay Fosgate.
Mm-hmm.
I love those.
Do I need to bring this schmuck on with us?
Oh yeah, bring on Gavi Poo. Come on, baby.
Oh,
All right. Gavin, check your messages.
The interim Gary Reed Award winner.
Yeah, we like to call him that. He likes to call himself that. Actually, that's when there was a gap in deciding when we're going to do the Gary Reed Awards. Gavin Smith declared himself the interim winner, which I thought was the greatest move ever.
It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. Good for all the laughs until he decides to probably beat everybody up because he's going to end up wanting his award anyway.
Yeah, he wants a trophy.
But okay, back on topic because we'll just BS the whole time and we'll never get anything done. But back on topic, you have a Kickstarter coming out next month for Volume 2.
Yes. Yes. It is officially my second Kickstarter that I've created.
Whoa. It's
No, it is the first.
You got to tell them the story. So this is technically Seth's first Kickstarter, but
it's the second one.
he goofed up. So let me just paint a picture for you for a second. I gotta imagine Seth as a small child, like just a little baby Seth, right? He's like a little baby boy. He's still shaved head, big beard, but he's about 4 years old.
That's
And he likes pushing buttons, and so
Ew.
Oh, Gavin Smith, everyone, interim
Gary.
Gavin, the man, the myth, the interim winner.
Yeah, it was too long to put future and first two-time Gary Reed Award winner. So I'll settle for interim for now, but
All right, everybody who's listening, this is going to be an off-the-rails conversation. Just buckle up. Okay?
Sorry, I'll let you guys go back to promoting Floppy Cop, but
So Seth broke Kickstarter.
Okay, yeah, we're talking about this Kickstarter. So it's technically Seth's second Kickstarter. They're both Floppy Cop because he screwed up the first one. He launched it on like January 3rd. He accidentally hit the launch button in the last step. And I'm sitting here on the toilet and Seth's...
that's how you found out.
After we did all this work to assemble this thing, it looked beautiful. It was like a gorgeous looking preview of the whole thing.
Yeah.
All this hard work. I go, Seth, all you got to do is submit it for approval, and then we can share a preview link Seth goes, hold my beer. And I'm like, Seth, it's only 9 a.m. And Seth, well, hold on now. Let me just send it. And then for some reason, Kickstarter approved it within seconds, which must tell you that it's a high quality piece of merchandise. But
Or they got nothing else going on.
Or they got nothing else going on. They're just sitting at home in their pajamas, just approving everything willy-nilly. You can all
Yeah.
But he sends back a screenshot to me, and it's approved and launched. And I was like, whoa, no,
Is this bad?
Yeah, and I had to like call him and actually talk to him instead of text, which nobody wants to do.
No,
And
I may have cried a little bit.
he wept into that beer.
I heard some of the things you called him, Dan. That was uncalled
They
for.
were cruel, and I will be punished for them in the afterlife. I was brutal to him. But so technically, this is his second Kickstarter, but really it's his first.
It's
And really, you all should be nice to Seth because he's the sweetest guy on the planet, and
I'll be a little slow.
he's dipping his toe into this giant Kickstarter world. And he needs people to be the floaties that he can float to the deep end on. That's what we need.
And we've got some real cool, some real fun stuff for everybody at all the different tiers. I mean, you can even, if you missed the first trade, you can pick up the first trade with the second one. We've got, there it is right there. Dan's got it. Keep on flopping. We've got enamel pins. We've got special add-ons when we hit certain levels. Yeah, there's that.
There's the
Beautiful.
badge pin.
Oh, police badge, beautiful 2-inch pin.
So
Double
excited
back.
about that.
I want to
And
know
the best part about the Kickstarter is everything is done. So there's no wait, there's no lead time. The only thing really, once the campaign is done, and it's just a 21-day campaign, there's the pretzel, there's Floppy himself. Once the campaign is done, all we need is print and shipping time. That's the only thing that anybody's going to wait for. Everything is done.
But
Yeah.
is there a tier for that sweet variant cover that came out featuring?
I think we might do that actually. Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned
Yeah.
that. So Gavin's referring to. I'm going to go grab it from one of my short boxes here in a second.
And
but
send me one while you're at it.
it's in the mail. Remember I told you in the last Zoom call.
Oh, nice.
So when we were early stages of the pandemic, remember early times when we still were riding the high of whatever the last haircut we had was. It was.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Really?
Evan was 17 years old when we started.
It was 80 years ago.
Kyle had hair like
84 years.
I had hair like Gavin when the
Yeah, right.
This is a before and after picture you're looking at.
And I had hair like Seth's before. It was
Yeah.
lazy.
Right?
Yeah. It was a different time for all of us. And then
My beard was black.
We did, yeah. I'm getting a little salt and the pepper, you know. But no, we had an early, like a limited edition of the first issue of this news story arc, and Gavin did one section of the cover because we did the cover like it was a Zoom chat, and each character was picked up by one of our friends. So Gavin was one, Ali Cantarella was one, and then the rest of the team Floppy Cop, so Milena, Deneno, and Jay Fosgett, and the two of us. And Gavin got to do Kyle's favorite character, Barnaby. So, and it's the only one that there's an original drawing for because everyone else did theirs digital. So Gavin's the old.
Well, that's because I'm old school. Yeah.
Like
unless he sold it, or unless he sold it because we both forgot. I bought the piece.
You were going to buy the piece.
Yeah, did you sell it?
No.
Okay. Don't let me forget this time, huh?
Okay. Well, I have that, and then there was a Floppy
and
Cop
take my
drawing.
money.
I'm
Yeah,
gladly. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gavin,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh.
No, so Gavin is how is Gavin related to Team Floppy Cop?
how
He
am I
is
not?
He's like a bastard cousin.
Gavin cousin Eddie.
He's that wild conspiracy theory uncle that shows up at the Thanksgiving.
So literally cousin
I
Eddie.
have all the bad takes. It's
Yeah.
great.
Well, and actually, he's canon now because I've worked him into Volume 2.
Yeah, he's actually in volume 2.
And vice versa, as I've worked Seth into volume 2 as well.
Yeah,
And
Dead Legends.
I own a page of that.
And Dan,
And-
you're also in it.
And Seth and Gavin are both in Touching Evil Volume 3, so suck it.
Oh, that's score.
And Gavin and Seth are both in Beardo 5, so suck it again.
Yay! Okay.
Kyle, you got to be in something. Although we named Barnaby.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got
we
a
named
character
you
name
for the
that.
main character.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not totally salty.
He's
Look,
medium
Kyle-
salty.
Kyle was really smitten with the Barnaby character in Floppy Cop, so we gave Barnaby's first name to Kyle. So he's Kyle Cornelius Barnaby.
Cornelius.
Yeah,
Well,
because I
that's
don't
why
think
I
we were,
asked. Is
originally
one of
we
the
weren't going to give
Kickstarter
him a full
levels.
name.
Kyle
It was just Barnaby.
Cornelius.
Yeah, we never were going to give him a first name. He was always going to just be Barnaby, but then he became Kyle Cornelius Barnaby. That's for you, buddy.
So that was good. That was my next question: is can one of the Kickstarter levels, if we get beyond what you've got planned, be a Floppy Cop branded soft pretzels? Let's be real.
Oh, I was wondering if this is possible because, by the way, hi Bianca and John. I see them posting up in
Yes.
here.
Oh, what up, man?
I was wondering about this. Well, so we are going to make one thing I know we are going to make because we know that it's easy to ship is pretzel face masks. So you can have a pretzel mask that looks
Like when we were kids and you could cut it out of the back of a cereal box, that kind of mask.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, we're
it's-
going all in on the
So
pretzel.
you too can be pretzel face, just like our main villain. But we are also my wife. I kind of was giving her a hard time because she got this. Oh, dude, you're more of a rod guy, huh?
This is what they had on sale at the grocery store.
I have a little tiny pretzel from my country club mix I have right beside
I
me.
gotta go
So.
get some
I'm in the middle
pretzels.
of the Mommy River now.
I guess I just have to eat this enamel pin.
We don't have pretzels.
I'm fully dying. Actually, I was giving my wife a hard time because she got this. One of the things she got for Christmas was this cookbook she wanted, and in it there is a recipe for these giant pretzels. And I'm like, what if you made those and we put those in the Kickstarter? And she was like, I don't know, but I think it'd be super cool if we could figure out a way to
A
send
way to
people
ship
pretzels.
food?
Yeah, I don't know.
I
if
think
they're
you can. I looked it up in the.
I mean, I know you can, but like,
But should you? Is the question.
yeah.
Has
He
anyone
never stopped.
Should you
to think
ask
if he
your
should.
wife to do that? Is the bigger question. Like, not should you do it for the Kickstarter?
The
How
answer
much
is
do you
would
want to
she?
carry?
Hey man, we're on year 35 of this quarantine, so I'm just asking all kinds of crazy questions.
We're
You want to
just
go
going
on for people you don't know?
Dan's just over here like, I'm just asking the questions.
I'm
that
just
we're all
asking the
thinking."
tough questions, like can you mail pretzels?
Let's go off the rails. I love it.
Anyway, so we're making a Kickstarter.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're making a Kickstarter one that Seth won't break.
There's still time.
Yeah, we're working on
Every time I go to share the link, I get nervous, and I feel like making a phone call to Dan, like, talk me off the ledge here. Make sure it's not this button.
Well, so honestly, here's the thing too. Let me just throw this out there. Seth should be, Seth has done so many comics, he has so much good content, and we were also trying to like collaborate on this Kickstarter. So I'd love to see some other Seth Damoose comics. By the way, that's what I'm saying. So if Seth knows how to rock a Kickstarter, then you're going to get more Seth Damoose Kickstarter comics as a result, and that's a win-win for everybody.
I got
Yeah.
ideas.
Make him
Oh,
follow
I
you
will
with
say
it.
this, Dan, and you know this to be true. Seth has a successful Kickstarter. We all have to go and work in the garage all weekend helping him pack the stuff.
Yeah, I'm
It's
fine.
exactly how that's going to go.
I will.
We solve
not
world
angry.
hunger. We solve all the problems of the world in my garage.
I'm conveniently out of town that day.
Hey, it's only a 4-hour drive for you.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right?
I've made that drive, Gavin. I went from Seth's house to your wedding. That's a
That's
true
true.
story.
That is
Yeah,
true.
But
Come pick me up then.
On the couch when Dan left for your wedding.
The way around.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's legit.
No,
But
and I'll
yeah,
say this: if that happens, I'm all about this Seth the Moose Kickstarter thing because I'll just pull a Nolan Nasser and sit in the corner and play with the dog. Like
is that a Nolan movie?
me and Merlin will hang out, and you guys can do all the work, just like Nolan when they ship Kickstarters from SourcePoint.
Yeah. No,
Wow.
that's exactly how that
Man, I
was.
didn't know we were sipping tea right now. I like this.
No, that's a plug for a future show here in the Comic Shopping Experience, brought to you by SourcePoint Press. There are episodes where it's just Travis yelling at Nolan, and it's the most amazing thing, and just get excited for it.
But that's not fair because Travis will yell at anybody. That's why I don't call him.
give him the opportunity.
Yeah,
I just mean
Yeah.
him yelling at me.
I don't.
He's a straight to voicemail kind of guy, Travis. I don't pick up.
Yeah, you don't have to pay extra for caller ID anymore. I just look at the phone and it's like, yeah, I'm not answering that.
Yikes. Yeah, I just have a picture of Carrot Top in place of his face, and I just go,
Yeah,
nope.
But
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a cool experience, though, right? I mean, like, you know, I've run 4 or 5 Kickstarters now. I can't remember how many at this point. It's 2 Touching Evil ones, one for my school, one for my vinyl record, and this will be like technically my 5th, but it's really Seth's show. I'm just sort of making sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. And I think it'll be cool for Floppy Cop, and I think it'll be cool for whatever else Seth wants to do. You know, like you get one of those under your belt, all of a sudden you're just like, you know, you kind of think about what the possibilities are. I mean,
Yeah. No, I think it'll be fun, and I think it'll be good for Floppy Cop, especially because it's all done, you know. And I'm real excited for everybody to get their hands on the new volume and read it. Dan and I have gone off the rails to be as funny as we can.
yes.
We really pushed each other and pushed the limits of the book with this one.
And comedy.
It turned into each page we tried to one up each other on who could be funnier, whether it was the script or the artwork. So this is hopefully a kind of a non-embarrassingly pee your pants kind of funny.
so we actually have a question, like that's a real question. Do you find the return on investment of the enamel pins to be where you want them, or do you just like pins?
That's a really good question. I know that's
Good.
John. John and I did some cool stuff last year, which I hope ends up becoming a thing too. But you know, they did pay for themselves, and I think we turned a little bit of a profit. So like we didn't really get to see the full effect of it because of everything kind of shutting down last year. Because I think a lot of the pins that we got in 2019, and then we made this pin in the pandemic because it was part of that one special package deal. So like, I will say that I think the answer is yes, if it really is a double whammy of it ties into the product, but it also is something that people would buy even if they didn't know it, which is a perfect example is this one, the pretzel one.
Yeah.
People just like pretzels, man. Like they don't care about Floppy Cop sometimes when they buy it. They just go, dude, that's a fun pen. And it's good art, obviously, and it's well made. So it's like they just get it for that. And then, you know, people like tchotchkes that are, I mean, I have the other thing too, like the challenge coin, the Beardo Comics challenge coin. That was a huge hit for me, but it was because of the game involved with it, where you have to actually like, you know, if you go to a con and you see someone else, you have to put your if you know they have the coin, you have to put yours down. If they don't have it, then like usually it's a drinking game, but you can make it into other games too.
Yeah.
I think it is.
This is the best Pog Slammer.
Yeah. I mean, it's a solid coin. You could punch somebody with this.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. I think you just have to have 2 reasons why people would buy it: either the thing that it's attached to, or because it's cool on its own right.
So, Gavin, you came late, so I'm going to come back to you in a minute. And,
That's fine.
And
I'm
the awkward questions. But Seth and Dan, you guys, the first volume of Floppy Cop, you did the special release trades, and then it came out as single issues. This is just coming out as a trade, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
So, did you approach it differently knowing that, or did you originally do it as single issues, and just because of the way things broke down with the pandemic and everything else that you went trade?
It's the second one. It's we initially thought, so last year obviously threw a whole bunch of wrenches into the works. I mean, Seth can talk about it too, obviously. Like we were debating on whether to call it 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of a new story arc, but we definitely were thinking of doing it as single issues. And then, yeah, like, you know, everybody got hit a bit last year. and Source Point wasn't immune to that either. So we talked to Travis and we were trying to figure out, because we were already kind of in it when things were happening. We were sort of starting up this new story arc.
I think I had the first issue done, and we were already into issue 2 when everything shut down and they started canceling things.
Yeah. So we started looking at it like, how do we, what is the best way to approach this? And to be honest, like, I'm not a fan really of single issues as so much as collections. As a consumer and a creator, that's my own personal preference. But I mean, that's to me, like, I will get an issue just to try something out, but then I will get the collection to really, experience it. And so to me, like, I always write these story arcs to be part of a bigger story. Like, they're not like a bunch of vignettes put together. They're one big story that has a lot of fun little stuff in it. And that's how Seth and I we approached that in volume 1 and in volume 2. So yeah, we made a bunch of tough decisions in 2020, but we also used the time in 2020 to actually get the work done and make sure that we were ready for 2021. And that's kind of where now we're sitting pretty poised to knock this out, because like Seth said, the book is done. Like, we're literally, it's not one of those Kickstarters where then you have to wait another year or 2,
6 months or something like that.
Yeah, we're aiming to have it in people's hands by summertime.
Yeah. Printing and shipping, that's the only thing you're gonna wait for. Yeah.
Cool. And, all right, so awkward time.
Sure.
Gavin, people probably know you from Dead Legends or your work on Accelerators, but tell everybody how you came to be in the comics.
In the comics, Well, I started this whole crazy journey about 2008-ish. I started going to the Joe Kubert School, and I graduated from there in 2011. Got to train with the man himself. That was great. Made a lot of friends along the way. And then after graduating, I wrote, drew, and self-published my own book called Human City. Only did 1 issue of that. I promised a lot of people I would make more, and then I never did.
There are some people who bought it from my store, particularly like middle-aged women who are pretty salty about that. I just want to throw that out there.
That's all right. I'll let them air their grievances next time I'm in Ohio. And yeah, it was just one of those things that kind of steamrolled into me getting work for Accelerators and a number of other things. Did some stuff for AT&T and more. I'm actually drawing a blank slate. Let's see. I did some stuff for Gregory Graves, Ghost in the Shell, Heavy Metal. Some backgrounds for some artists on some other stuff. It's top secret. I've been pretty steady. And then a couple years ago, James Maddox and I got together and decided to start producing our own book. And I'd always wanted to do a martial arts book, so we came out with Dead Legends, Volume 1, published by Away Blue World. I'm currently working on the 2nd volume. I basically just have to color these last 2 issues, and I'm done. And I'm halfway through coloring issue 4 that I started on Monday, and I'm on page 15 right now, so I'll probably be done by Monday with the whole thing. And then just 1 more issue to color, then I'm done with Dead Legends Volume 2, and that's going to be coming out in August.
Have you seen, I've wanted to ask you this since it happened. Have you seen a big uptick in the Dead Legends since the Cobra Kai's happened?
A little bit. I think, obviously, since we've been stuck at home, like when Cobra Kai came out and our book was coming out, when Cobra Kai hit Netflix, it was obviously during the pandemic, so I couldn't totally use that to my advantage because I couldn't go to conventions to sell it. But like people have, I've had some people ask about it, be like, "Oh, I kind of like Cobra Kai," and I'm like, "Well, we've been doing this before then, but okay." But I do love Cobra Kai; it's a really good show. But I'm hoping to use that to my advantage once conventions start up again, and I can talk people in the room with it.
So, all right, Jen's been asking this question all day, and Dan has the ultimate cop-out answer because we all already know the answer. But Jen has been asking about secret hidden talents, things other than your comic work that you're talented about and that people know. And Dan kind of mentioned it already. So let's go around the circle. We'll start with Seth. What is one secret talent that you have that people may not know about
The ability to be a mime.
I have a very high threshold for alcohol. No, that's not a talent.
That's a skill,
not what
acquired
we don't
skill.
Practice.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I mean, I played guitar for 20 years before I figured out I was a hell of a bass player.
That's funny because I've also been playing guitar for 20 years and I'm terrible at it.
You're right. No, I just never got any better.
Yeah.
And then I started playing bass, and I was like, wow, this is easy. I could do this all day long. No, so, I mean, music would be something, but, I mean, never to any level that, like Dan has. But, yeah, definitely growing up, I played music, wrote songs, played in several bands, and then decided to focus more on telling stories through art rather than music. So I sort of let that fall by the wayside.
Gavin?
Let's see. So I used to be in punk rock bands as well in my younger and slimmer days, but I mean, lately I'd say, and I was a front man. That was really fun. We went on tour and bunch and did all that fun stuff.
I wish I had seen that, man. I would have.
I mean, you saw a little bit, like a tease of it when I did "Shake It Off."
That
was me.
You are a showman when you want to be.
And so that's a hidden talent. I also karaoke. I mean, "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift. And some of my more recent talents, I've been getting pretty good at the golf game in Grand Theft Auto 5. The side game. So,
I love it.
yeah.
And other than the previously stated being an undercover rock star, do you have any hidden talents?
Me or Gavin?
Yeah, Dan.
Oh, shoot. I mean,
Also, you can't say making coffee.
Oh, that reminds me. I just brewed a cup. I'm gonna get a cup of coffee real quick.
No, I mean, I'm really useless. Other than those two things, I have focused most of my childhood and adulthood on two very specific things, and it's basically storytelling. I wouldn't even call it art. I would just say storytelling and music. And you can ask my wife; she will verify. I am very useless otherwise. Like I think I'm a good dad, but that doesn't. All you have to do is show up and not be a jerk, you know.
And make sure they don't die.
No one told me that was part of it.
Yeah, those were the three requisites. No, I mean, I can wiggle my ears. You see that?
See, there you go.
No.
That's a hidden talent.
Yeah.
No,
I'm going to give it to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just because I took away all the ones that you usually could use.
I know. I'm running out of options here. Like I like running, but that's not a talent. That's like staying, alive, basically for me. That's how
I will say, compared to the other three of us, it is a talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not so good at the whole running thing.
I was doing it for a while, and then I was like, I got deadlines.
Right, if Dan's running, he's probably like just trying to stay healthy. If the rest of us are running, something is chasing us.
Yeah.
And I say that because I would be the last one in line, so it works out. So 2021 is the year we're hoping everything gets back on track.
Yeah.
Hopefully post pandemic, this whole involuntary not seeing each other in person thing. So what do you guys have in the pipeline that people should be looking for in the next year, other than Floppy Cop 2, Volume 2?
Who Who wants to go first? I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've done a couple of small like fill-in things comics wise, but none of that's been announced yet. So I don't know that I can say too much. I mean, there's a couple of fill-in things that I've done that'll come out. But yeah, no, for me, the main focus here is Floppy Cop for now.
yeah, I mean, like for me, because 2020 was a year of like, I mean, in a way, it was sort of a year that would be normal except for lacking conventions and human interaction. Because I was in a position where a bunch of stuff was happening that I actually wanted to hunker down on and do, that I knew would probably come out late 2020 or into 2021. And obviously, like the whole situation's kind of thrown all these wrenches in. But once I got kind of like settled into this, new normal, I made a lot of stuff in 2020. Like I redrew one of the children's books that DJ and I worked on. So that's coming out in mid 2021. Do You Speak Fish? The very fancy, shiny version of it. Beardo, I relaunched Beardo in 2020, which was a very big thing for me. That was, besides Floppy Cop, that's my other comic out, like my comedy outlet. Like Floppy Cop's where I get to be PG-13 or worse and just go nuts with stuff. Beardo is where I try to access like all ages humor and like, kind of heartfelt kind of comedy. And so I relaunched that in 2020, and I have a Patreon for that. I know Kyle, we talked about that on the show last time I was on. That's still going. So I've been really proud of the fact that that's been going 3 times a week, every week since I started. My goal is to have all that stuff collected into a volume by maybe like end of 2021 or early 2022. But the other big thing I can mention that I can say, because the other things that I've tinkered with but haven't been confirmed yet, but Touching Evil Volume 3, I'd like to have done by the end of the year. So that would be the conclusion to Touching Evil, and that would complete the trilogy of the volumes. So I've been busy, but
really not that schedule. Really not that far thrown off then.
Yes and no. I mean, the only thing the thing that threw off for me was Floppy Cop, because we were really hoping to push that thing last year hard. I mean, we had all of a sudden we had the trade, we had a big slate of good shows coming up, and we had a really good following going. Like the beauty part about Floppy Cop has been that people who like it tell other people. Like it's a book that's grown. It's a definitely a grassroots book where. Yes. It's an unconventional book for Source Point Press, so they can't like pigeonhole it into other big titles of theirs like The Rejected or any of Bob Sally's stuff he's doing with his Broken Gargoyles or whatever. Like those guys are doing stuff that fits the brand a lot stronger. Even my other comic, Touching Evil, technically fits the Source Point Press mold. Floppy Cop is something that everybody likes who reads it, but then they have to basically get somebody else to try it and recruit them.
Right.
And so,
or we have to put it in their hands physically.
Yeah. Because it's so fun, but it's so weird. It's like remember your first time watching, like, and I'm not trying to say we're as good as this, but remember like first time watching like Monty Python or like anything on Adult Swim. Like, can you explain it? Not necessarily so easily, but is it fun? Absolutely. Like it's so much fun. And that's what we're going for. We're going for people to walk away from this thing feeling better and not having to deal with like heavy subjects and just having like goofy ass jokes, making fun of everybody and basically trying to, like Seth said, trying to one up each other on like making each other laugh. And I think that's always been the formula, and it's always worked for us.
Gavin, what do you have in the pipeline for 2021?
So as I mentioned before, Dead Legends Volume 2 is coming. That's been my sole focus. It was like very interesting timing with the pandemic, because I think James Maddox and I signed the contract for Volume 2 at the very beginning of 2020. And then everything started going to hell. And while everybody was like, going on hiatus and being told that, pencils down and stuff, Wave Blue World was super cool and let us move forward. So I've spent my whole pandemic pretty much working on this with a couple of like side jobs here and there that were like quick little things. Like I did a mini comic for an independent horror movie that I don't know what's ever going to happen to that. But as far as upcoming stuff, yet to be decided. There's a couple of things in the works. One's a huge deal that I definitely can't talk about, but I'll know for sure if that's happening this upcoming week. And a couple other projects I'm kicking around with other creators. One I've worked loosely with before, and who knows? Maybe more Dead Legends. We'll see.
I hope so. That's a great book.
Yeah,
it's so nice. I bought it twice accidentally.
Huh?
So nice. I accidentally bought it twice.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I do have copies of it.
Yeah, you got one from Target and one from Way Blue World, right? Yeah, you can. It's pretty great.
Yep, I don't regret it.
So, since I have a weird job to do here, Seth has something coming up in 2021. Well, yeah, in 2021 that he didn't tell you about, which is that he is our special guest artist on the very first episode of the Comic Book Shopping Experiences talk show, Shop Talk, which will be the week of January 25th.
Shop Talk.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know I could talk about it.
With our guests on that episode are Bob Sally, Sean Daly, and Tom King.
Oh,
Nice.
Wow. Fancy.
Wow.
And Seth.
And me.
So there you go. There you go. Debuting the week of January 25th.
That's killer.
Don't worry, the rest of you guys will be on it. I just haven't bothered you about it yet.
Fair enough.
Somebody's always got to go first.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and part of it is I was waiting for my production budget to come in.
Right? It's like that damn Kickstarter button. Is it it? Oh.
Well, part of, like I said, I was waiting to make sure that they were going to let me make it so that I could then buy the piece that Seth drew. So,
I love it.
yeah, no, it's. But
Pretty good.
so tell everybody. We got a couple of minutes left here. Tell everybody where to find you on the socials, where the links are, all of that kind of stuff. One more time.
Sure. Can I really quickly just mention some cool stuff that's been on the Kickstarter? Because I think I'd like to mention one thing that I think would be really cool for Seth and myself. We're actually doing. I mean, we have a bunch of stretch goals that obviously we don't like to talk about those until we get to the main goal, but the stretch goals are pretty cool so far. But Seth and I are both offering our commission list open, and we each put 10 slots out there for individual commissions. So if you're thinking of like helping support the comic and you've been meaning to get a commission from either Seth or myself, it'd be a really cool thing to channel it through that Kickstarter and help us bump up those numbers.
Super cool. But
we also, Seth, you want to tell them what we're going to do together?
we're gonna do how many spots did we open up for?
I think we put 4 spots.
Four spots where Dan and I are gonna do a jam piece commission on 11x17. And it's all going to be Floppy Cop related, so we're going to be ridiculous and stupid and funny and just off the wall kind of crazy stuff, but we're both going to contribute to the same piece of art. And that's not going to happen very often. So that'd be a real fun one to get in on.
We've only done that, I mean, less than I can count on one hand. And usually for special occasions, you know, like that.
Or like charity.
In public, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if I've begged you.
Yeah. Yeah. On walls and stuff. But yeah, we got some cool stuff there. And then we do have some extra bonus stuff that we've already assembled if it actually works out that we hit certain goals. But there is one that I'm pretty excited about because Seth just showed me the art for it today. We have a bonus 24-pager that Seth drew without a script that I'm
just 24 pages.
I know, just a 24-page comic. What other Kickstarter is going to tell you that they have a bonus 24-page comic locked and loaded if we
That's
actually...
a free comic.
Yeah. all you got to do is help us get to certain threshold, and we're going to throw an extra 24 pages of comics at people. So, I mean, I hope the link is somewhere. I don't know where it is going to be, but we have a link for notifying me on launch. I hope you guys follow that, because that's an easy way for you not to have to deal with worrying about, following social media and getting lost in algorithms. There's a preview of the campaign out there right now that you can check out. There's a link to that. And then I'm real easy. My social media, Instagram and Twitter is Beardo Comics. Patreon is patreon.com/BeardoComics. And then my website, BeardoComics.com. And you can find me on Facebook under my name, Dan Dougherty. And Seth, what do you do?
Well, and so for social media, it's Instagram is at Seth Damoose, one word. Twitter is at Damoose Seth. Just search for Seth Damoose on Facebook, or the Art of Dan Inc. on Facebook as well. And I'll have links to the Kickstarter and everything there, and all over the social medias. That's pretty much it. I mean, back to the 24-page story that we did, where I came up with the story and just drew it without a script, and Dan scripted it kind of backwards from there. In the first volume, we did the same thing, but it was only a 16-page story. So we kind of felt like we should one-up the game right there to add that much more for volume 2 to make it bigger and better than the first one was. So that was the idea behind that.
Yeah.
Gavin?
All right, listen up, everybody. Valentine's Day is coming up, and you don't want to get kicked out of the house for having a bad gift. So what you're going to want to do is run to your local comic shop, get Dead Legends Volume 1. If you absolutely abhor going to comic shops, I don't know why you're watching this, but you could also go to awbw.com and order it there. You're going to want to get your sweetheart the best thing that you can possibly get her this time.
Are you saying that because the one character kind of looks like your wife?
Well, maybe a little. But we've discussed this. Anyway, sweet cover by Dan Panozan, written by James Maddox, comic book gentleman, and drawn and colored by me, your interim Gary Reed Award winner, Gavin Smith. You can find me.
Anything away from Casey, who actually did win.
Yeah, congrats, Casey. I was keeping it warm for you.
Yeah.
Well, we waited. We had to give it to somebody. And
Yeah.
She'll be there Sunday. We'll ask her to defend her.
Yeah, that's fine. No, she can have it for now. I'm just letting you know. When I eventually do win it, I'll technically be a 2-time winner, but with one trophy for some reason. I don't know. Anyway,
it's weird.
You can find me on social media. I'm here. You can click on one of the comments I made up on the chat and find me here, and you can comment on my art alongside my mom. And you can find me on Instagram, Twitch, and Twitter at Gavin P. Smith. P as in Patrick.
We'll have links to all of these things over at bit.ly/EXP guests as soon as I can get that website recoded, because our website totally broke today. So we've had a tremendous amount of hits and things, and it just been fighting me all day. But I will get those up this evening, so that anyone who's watching can go to bit.ly/EXP guests and get all those links for everything, including the Kickstarter link will be there as well.
February 9th, baby. It's on.
February 9th.
Floppy February.
Floppy February.
Floppy February.
It's a whole month of Floppy Friday. Stay floppy, my friend.
Things will be flopping.
All of it.
Floppy Cop for life.
So we got just about 5 minutes left.
What? I gotta keep talking to you.
Yeah, we just did our plugs, man.
I know. I did the plug because
I'm all out of beer, man.
Well, I wanted to come back with a fun question.
Okay.
Sure.
Because I know how important music is to all of you guys.
Sure.
Yeah.
What is the first song on your pandemic playlist? What's the one song you've listened to the most in the last year? Like, is there a song that you've been going to as inspiration, or is there a song that's just been in your head as an earworm?
I've been listening to a lot of Built to Spill.
Honestly, because it came out on Disney Plus and my children and myself got obsessed with it, the whole Hamilton soundtrack became a way of life for me. I'm not even kidding you guys.
Yeah.
And I have no shame
Wrong.
either. I think it's fantastic. I honestly, it's like 2 hours and some change. If you run that long, you're running like a half marathon. So, Hamilton soundtrack, yeah, I stand by it.
I didn't answer the hidden talents earlier, and one of my hidden talents is that I wound up 2 auditions away from being King George in one of the traveling companies of Hamilton.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, wild.
Wow.
Oh,
I played it too crazy. Also, unwilling to lose the beard.
Huh. All right.
Gotta have painters.
I know him. That can't be. He's that
Right.
the guy who spoke to me. That was great. That is so cool. I will say, I'm going to say this though. Like, there were some good albums that came out in 2020. I actually really loved the new Pearl Jam album, Gigaton, and Fiona Apple's album came out, which was pretty killer. What else did I get from?
The new Springsteen was amazing.
Yes,
I haven't heard it actually.
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's really good. Yeah.
That always scares me when Bruce puts out a new album.
Yeah,
Because I fucking love Bruce. But
yeah.
How do you
It
not?
was. I think I sent it to Nick Damoose. That it sounds like a Crazy Horse record, but Bruce singing it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I would agree with
So-
that.
He's the
So
boss.
Seth, what's number 1 on the playlist?
Oh, I don't know. I have a bit of a case of ADHD with music. I have to take it in small doses, and I skip around a lot. The older I get, I can't really sit through it too much. And then I end up falling back on old favorites. I mean, anytime Rage Against the Machine is on, I crank the radio and start punching the steering wheel. That's always going to be there. That's never going to go away. You turned me on to Larkin Poe. I've been jamming on her for a while, a lot, actually, the last couple of weeks now, and I'm really digging that. It reminded me how much I loved like Southern bluegrass blues.
It's
That's
for
my
those of you
wheelhouse.
who've never heard of them. It's 2 women that sound like a 10-piece blues band from New Orleans. It's
Absolutely
insane.
beautiful.
Wow.
Absolutely
It's-
beautiful. Yeah.
You know,
Southern
it's
blues,
a Stratocaster and a slide guitar, and it'll blow your socks off.
Yep.
Man, I miss live music, by the way. One of my last good memories of 2020 was playing the vinyl release show for my band, and then that was the last show we got to play. It was I had all my friends come out, just not to listen, but I had my favorite musician friends come out and play with us, the 3-piece as a 7-piece, and it was like one of the last great nights of 2020 before everything went to HE double hack sticks.
Well, thank you guys for being here. I love you all. You're some of my dearest friends in the world. I
Miss you,
miss
buddy.
thanks for letting me crash.
Yes.
I literally texted Dan and I was just like, "Yo, y'all doing that Floppy Cop thing? I'm
Look at
bored.
it,
I want to
you-
watch."
You see, you should never do that because you know you're going to get invited on.
All
That's
right.
how this works.
All right.
You've been warned.
We're
More the merrier, man. We're all better
in
together.
just about a minute's time. We'll be joined by Aaron Hallen from a comic shop, and David. I hope I must say this right, David Pepos, who
David,
just had a huge book come out that's been wildly successful from Aftershock Comics. We will be back in just about a minute here on the EXP Expo Day 1.